And welcome back to RGR Football. It's a little bit. I had to tweak and make sure everything looks right when you get started there. But luckily for you guys, Matt Derrick is back. How are you, Matt?
I am doing okay. Ryan, how about yourself?
I'm just fighting everything all week long this week. So, in fact, I didn't even do this right. So this has got to come off and go backwards. So we're going to do that. Luckily, this is my channel. I don't have to be that formal. So
well-oiled machine.
Sure. Oh, it's something. I've had about enough of it already, like the off-season drama. We talked earlier in the week on Locked On. It's just unfortunate. I think it puts a cramp into what I was hoping was going to be a much smoother process about training camp and getting to that point and getting on the field and like going back to quote unquote normal. I'm about tired of the non-normal here. So what I wanted to talk about is, do you think all of this drama in particular, whether it's Frank or the defensive front in particular, does this do anything for what training camp does? Or is this something they can move past and try to get back to that same schedule?
Yeah, I think from the Chiefs' perspective, the really frustrating thing about developments this week is that it does change, what the tone of training camp beginning is going to be. I mean, I don't think that we're going to hear from Frank Clark or from the Chiefs until training camp. And a big part of that is just because there's nobody around. I mean, everybody's on vacation this time of year. It's not like guys are going to just be coming in for a press conference or anything. Yeah, they could probably do a Zoom, but nobody wants to do that right now. And honestly, I think we'll hear fairly soon, but I think there's a really good chance that the Chiefs will be having training camp in St. Joe. There's a lot of reasons why, the teams and the fan base should be really excited about training camp. And now the beginning of training camp is going to be overshadowed by drama. And when instead it should be about the NFL getting back to normal and maybe training camp is in St. Joe. Things are different. How's it all feel? And now it's going to be everybody, Reed, Clark, his teammates, all being asked about what's going on and about the drama. And, it will go away. I mean, the Chiefs have been here before. There have been plenty of times that this club in the past has started training camp with nothing but drama and they get it behind them. But yeah, I know they would like to start one training camp without any drama, and this won't be that year.
Evidently not. You can always cross your fingers for next year. That said, folks, there's a little delay between when we record this and when you're going to see it. So hopefully they've said something already by the time you're watching this and you're like, what are you guys talking about? But for me, the big question is like the change to the 3-game format for the preseason. I always schedule my camp visit to be after the first contest so that we see some of the fallout from who got time and who got reps and who needs to improve. Do you think, just gut feeling, as we don't know the schedule yet, do you think that there's going to be a jumble up in the way that they do that? There's a large gap after preseason game 3 in week 1.
Yeah, things are really different this year as far as the NFL schedule goes anyway, because the CBA now has a unified start for all teams, whereas before, it was, the Chiefs started training camp like 15 days before their first preseason game. Now things are different. I mean, everybody's got a uniform start date. There's a 5-day acclimation period for players, when they report versus when they really start getting onto the field. So the beginning of camp is going to be different than it's been in years past. And yeah, there's going to be an oddity because I still think that, the Chiefs schedule is normally there at camp until they break for that second preseason game. And then after the second preseason game, they go back home. They're in the facility the rest of the way. Now you're right. I mean, with just the 3 preseason games, I think they're probably going to go back to Kansas City at about the same time period. So they may have the same amount of practices. They're going to look a little bit differently, especially early on. And we'll see, what capacity, if they are open to the public or not. But that will be a little bit different for when they do get back to the facility. And then you're right. I mean, there's going to be a period of time where we just don't hear as much because, you're going to have that one preseason game and really about 3 weeks. That's going to be the only thing that you got at, there's not going to be any public practices or anything of that nature. You're just going to have that one preseason game that honestly, a lot of guys probably still won't play. So yeah, it's going to be once teams break camp in, whatever form, it's definitely going to be a little bit different of a preseason this year.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to something different, but my last thing, and this is overscoping. If you were Brett Veach, let's put it that way, with the drama, with all the change in the schedule, with everything being a little bit different, does this hasten your idea of trying to do the Tyrann Mathieu extension in order to put something positive out there and kind of, grease the skids as they get into camp? Or is this something that you'd rather just hold off, see if you can do it a little bit later?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, from a PR standpoint, it would be a great move to get the Tyrant Mathieu deal done here pretty soon and have that be kind of a quick story that can wipe away Frank Clark. Especially, hey, that's maybe a day 2 story. Honestly, I could see it getting done, but I wouldn't, for Tyrant's sake, put him and Frank Clark up on the same day. That's tough. But hey, if you open up camp and that's the day that Frank Clark talks, that's the day Coach Reed, that deals with it, and then you move on immediately and you get into the Tyrann Mathieu extension and you're able to talk about that. Yeah, that's from a PR standpoint. That's probably a great way to change the subject, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that's the way that they go about it. And because that's saying, I think a Tyrann Mathieu deal is going to get done before the start of the season. Yes.
Oh, sorry, folks. I didn't frame that correctly. We both feel it's going to happen.
We both feel like that's going to happen.
For those of you who don't, that's how we're at it. So I'm looking forward to being there. Knock on wood, if it all works out the schedule-wise, I'll be able to make it to town again. I know you will be out there regardless, and you'll have everything over at Chiefs Digest. So thanks for cluing us in this week as well.
Do my best, Ryan. Thanks a lot.
All right. Folks, you have a good one. Like, sub, do the whole thing. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe